Shalom. I hope you had a wonderful week. I would like to share with you a little thought on this week's Torah portion, the portion of Ki Tisa. One of the main stories in this week's Torah portion is the famous events of the golden calf. As many of you are probably familiar with the details, how Moses comes down from Mount Sinai after being there for 40 days. He's ready to present the 10 Commandments engraved in stone. And as he comes down from the mountain, he witnesses the Jewish people worshiping the golden calf. With such disappointment and dismay, he throws down the 10 Commandments and breaks them into pieces. God too is disappointed with the Jewish people, and it takes a selfless leader like Moses to advocate for the Jewish people and to beg for their forgiveness, which is eventually granted. And indeed, God gives Moses another set of 10 Commandments that are presented to the Jewish people on the day of Yom Kippur. This is actually one of the first ideas of Teshuvah and Yom Kippur's association with it that are presented in the Torah, where the Jewish people receive the replacement set of the 10 Commandments in an expression of full reconciliation and repair, where they now have the second set of commandments to follow and to cherish. These commandments, engraved in stone, we are told, were stored and placed in the ark inside the Holy Temple, inside the Holy of Holies, in the most sacred place in Judaism, were the 10 Commandments, and they were stored there for many, many generations. But what about the broken set of commandments? What about those broken pieces? What happened to them? The Talmud tells us something fascinating, which is, in Hebrew words, luchot v'shivrei luchot munachim ba'aron. The broken pieces, together with the complete pieces of the second set, were both placed in this ark inside the Holy of Holies, inside the temple. And the question begs to be asked, why would we keep a memory of these broken pieces, of this tremendous disappointment that reminds us of the sin of the golden calf? And the commentaries tell us something profoundly moving and inspiring, which is, God says to each and every one of us, there may be parts of you that are whole, that are represented by the complete set of commandments. And there may be a part of you that feels inadequate, incomplete, and perhaps even broken. But to me, that is precious too. Whether you consider yourself a whole, complete Jew, or a Jew that is still putting the pieces together to try and improve on that connection, that relationship, to me that is precious, says God. And to me that belongs in the Holy of Holies, just like the complete set. And this is a very profound message for life in general. As we know, life has its fair share of disappointments, of setbacks, of brokenness. And we shouldn't always look at broken experiences or disappointments as something that has to be abandoned and forgotten about. Sometimes channeling some of that bitterness, some of that disappointment, and using it as a catalyst for improvement, for more sensitivity, for more awareness, for more kindness, can be a better use of that experience and can place that squarely in our Holy of Holies, in our path as we march forward in life towards a better, more holy, more refined way of living. So the story of the golden calf is really a profound story, not of disappointment, but how do we deal with disappointment? How do we deal with brokenness and hardship? And how we use those experiences as well to improve our lives and the lives of those around us. As the famous Hasidic saying goes, there's nothing more whole than a broken heart. That brokenness can sometimes make us a better human being than when no setbacks and no brokenness is ever experienced. Or as Leonard Cohen would say, everything has cracks in it. That's how the light gets in. Let's invite that light, let's invite that beauty into our lives, and indeed celebrate with joy, happiness. Shabbat Shalom.